Wow.
All right.
Okay.
We had some final comments on the debate last night because
we have a
it's
guest for tonight. It's crazy.
But the good news about the
Here's the
debate
good news is
at times
at times like these,
they were talking
they
about
talk about
President
President
Obama
Obama
85 times,
times.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
They talked
They
about
talk Hillary
30 times.
30 times.
And that really is
And it really is
what these
debates should be about.
Here's
what the opposition says, what these people have done for the country.
And here's where we
Here's what he
differ, and
did
here's
for
where we would go. And it was refreshing at times to hear a little bit about it last the audio
night.
right now.
And of course, we have a guest and all that stuff, so he just had to tell me about that. It's me, LH Music, third and last hour. Time for the radio show continues. Along with Pat and Steven, time for the crew as far as we're concerned. So, call today, Bree. Sing what you have. So, if you don't mind, kick the theme music. Somebody's gotta say it. That's why LH Music and the Typewriter Crew are inside your radio set. That's where the real conservative truth lives here. This is the LH Music Time Factor Radio Show.
Say, Rand Paul was right about one thing, that it destroys your chances.
Now, in his explanation, he said, look, I'm from New York. That's what we believe in New York. Those aren't Iowa values, but this is what we believe in New York. And so that was his explanation. And I guess I can frame it another way. Not a lot of conservatives come out of Manhattan. I'm just saying.
Oh.
All right, so
Okay,
that was a big moment in the debate last night.
Donald Trump made it under pretty good talk about after 9/11, after all New York, and so on and so forth.
You know, this kind of
hit home for me, though.
As a conservative,
as us conservatives,
we
live in New York, live in Omaha, Nebraska. Democrats outnumbered Republicans in the city of New York by 8, 9, 10 to I don't know what the latest numbers are.
And it's really
crazy to me.
But New York
is socially liberal, extremely left-wing. It's now run by a communist mayor
and a pretty
left-wing
left-wing
governors.
Andrew
Cuomo, the great said this about us conservatives.
Their problem is not me and the Democrats. Their problem is themselves. What are they? Are they these extreme conservatives who are right to life, pro-assault weapon, anti-gay? Is that who they are? Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Oh.
New Yorkers are.
All right, so
Okay.
then I said, fine.
Here's what you are, you stupid liberal. You're the one who's trying to sabotage. You know who? Us conservatives. And why? Because anyone else can be civilized is you. Oh, jeez.
Country
Because
literally
offering to this,
offering me
positions in their states, don't face income tax.
All right, joining us now
Of course, now is Senator Cruz. So there,
you
you talk about your values.
And Donald Trump
Is right in the sense that,
New York came
together, but
as I was just
it's just explaining to me,
I just played Andrew
Andrew
Cuomo.
Cuomo. He doesn't even care.
Like me that are
pro-life and pro-Second Amendment.
And
have a different view on traditional marriage than he does. He said, they're not welcome here.
Pretty
interesting debate I have with them. How are you?
Sean, it's great to be with you. You know, you're exactly right. It's been an interesting 24 hours where Donald Trump and Andrew Cuomo and New York Mayor Bill de Blasio and Hillary Clinton have all demanded an apology because apparently they're unhappy about people acknowledging that they have embraced New York values. And so I've heard their demands, and I'm happy to give them an apology. I apologize to the millions of New Yorkers who have been abandoned by liberal politicians. I apologize to the working men and women of New York who were denied jobs. Jobs have been plentiful just south in Pennsylvania because Governor Cuomo bans fracking. I apologize to all the pro-life, pro-marriage, pro-Second Amendment New Yorkers who Governor Cuomo brazenly told have no place in the state of New York because that's not who New Yorkers are.
That's what I'm one of them.
I'm one of them. You apologize to me. Listen.
Do you know how much more you pay
much more than you pay in taxes?
Because I work in New York City.
Because everybody works in New York City or Omaha, Nebraska. Your Texas income tax, right?
We have no state income tax. It's why New Yorkers are fleeing to Texas. And I apologize to all the small business owners who are fleeing New York because the taxes and regulations are killing them. I apologize to the African American kids who Mayor de Blasio tried to throw out of charter schools that were giving them a lifeline to the American dream. And I'll tell you, Sean, I especially apologize to the cops and the firefighters and the heroes of 9/11 who had no choice but to stand and turn their back on Mayor de Blasio because over and over again he sides with the looters and criminals instead of the brave men and women in blue. That's an apology the men and women of New York need to hear, but I have a word of encouragement. Help is on the way. 2016, like 1980, is going to turn this country around, and the liberal politicians that have done so much damage to the good men and women of New York, their values are being resoundingly rejected by America.
Wow.
My goodness. That's a powerful statement.
You know, if you live in New York and work in New York City, do you know I pay nearly 14% more just in income taxes than I would pay in Florida or your state of Texas? Just 14%. That's 15 cents of every dollar I make. That's a lot of money. Now,
it's exactly right.
And I live in the second highest property tax county in the country, Nassau County. It's a great county, but I don't think I should be paying the amount of property taxes. And add to that, Senator, sales taxes. They have made it cost prohibitive for so many elderly New Yorkers, people born and raised in New York, to even stay in the state that they were born and raised in, and they have to move for financial reasons. Young people can't get a start and get their first home because it's just so far out of the range of possibility in terms of income. And you know what? I think you're right about one thing. If you want to see how to mismanage a state and a city, and I'm here, you can look at New York. And, you know, one time I asked Donald Trump.
What would I ask Donald Trump?
You would say nearly
15%.
He's just a
he's just a crazy guy. I don't about believe.
Well, you know, Sean, it's striking because Donald said last night he was offended and insulted.
Yeah, you see.
That he has embodied New York values. I'll note that assessment didn't come from me. It came from Donald J. Trump. Trump did a long interview with Tim Russert.
Well, actually, I think I got the cut.
I think I have a clip for you. We're going to talk about New York values.
Yeah.
All right, let me
let me play it for you. Play that clip, Roger.
The eliminating of abortion in the third trimester. Big issue in Washington. Would President Trump ban partial birth abortion?
I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion. I hate it. I hate everything it stands for. I cringe when I listen to people debating the subject. But I just believe in choice. And again, it may be a little bit of a New York background because there is some different attitude in different parts of the country. And, you know, I was raised in New York and grew up and worked and everything else in New York City. But I am strongly for choice, and yet I hate the concept of abortion.
But you would not ban it?
No.
Or ban partial birth abortion?
No, I am pro-choice in every respect.
Now,
you accepted these changes.
Well, listen, he says he does, and that's an assessment for the voters to take off. But, you know, when he was explaining why he was pro-choice in every respect, why he supported partial birth abortion, why he was open to gay marriage, his explanation was that he was from New York City, that those are the views and values of New York City, and he was echoing. In fact, he says in that same interview, those aren't Iowa values. You know what? He's right. Those aren't Iowa values. They're not New Hampshire values. They're not South Carolina values. And now he's suddenly offended at his own words, his own characterization. And I think in this primary, people need to discuss, okay, what are your views, and not just when you're a candidate for president, where everyone says they're conservative, but for the first 60 years of your life, what have your positions, what have your views been? Because, you know, Sean, we keep getting burned over and over and over again by elected politicians who talk great on the stump, but don't follow through and do what they said they would do. And the stakes are too high in 2016 for us to do it again.
Let me
ask you this.
You and Trump,
you and Trump,
for the first time, really
kind of went at it last night.
And by the way,
By the way,
I
I
loved the opening
of
the
the debate last night.
You said, hey,
You said,
about those 10 sailors. I'll ask you about that in a second.
Sure.
What is your
What is
answer,
your
though?
answer,
I
though?
thought you
I
gave a
think
very
you gave a very good answer
on the
on the issue of this
so-called
so-called birther issue.
I
I
interviewed
interviewed
him
him
after the debate last night.
I said,
well,
well,
I've read the
I read the
law.
law. The law actually talks about the very circumstances of yours, and I don't see it as an issue.
Disagreed with me, but I don't see it as an issue. And I've been very clear to my audience that I think it's a non-issue.
Well, and listen, Donald knows it's a non-issue. Back in September, just a few months ago, he said publicly that he had his lawyers look at this every which way, and there was no issue whatsoever. He knows that. But from September to today, the Constitution hasn't changed. What's changed is the polls. Donald is falling in the polls, especially in Iowa, and that seems to have rattled him, and so he's looking for something to change the topic, and sadly, mainstream reporters react like catnip to a lot of the silliness he tosses out there. I think the American people are a lot smarter and better educated and more sophisticated than the mainstream media gives them credit for. We understand that the stakes in this election, we're talking about pulling our country back from the brink. I think the American people are looking for a commander-in-chief who is prepared to defend this country, who has the experience, the judgment, the clarity of vision, the strength of resolve to keep America safe, to defeat radical Islamic terrorism, to destroy ISIL. And, Sean, I think the reason why conservatives are uniting so powerfully behind our campaign is this campaign more and more is turning into a two-man race between Donald Trump and me. And I think as Americans make that assessment, they're coming to the conclusion that I'm better prepared and better able to keep America safe and to defeat our enemies.
You started this debate.
I felt
the same way.
10
Those 10 sailors.
Obama not even
mentioning
mentioning it in his State of the
State of Union address.
The week
this idiotic
Iranian deal with
$150 billion rate to spend centrifuges, build missiles defense park with Vladimir Putin, 24 days notice
they get to build
conventional weapons. The week that was supposed to be implemented,
the
Iranians taking Americans hostage, forcing an American sailor to apologize, hands behind their backs, covering a video center with, head covering.
I
was
against this.
What would you
done?
Sean, I think the Americans across this country, when we picked up the newspaper, when we saw that image of 10 sailors on their knees with the Ayatollah Khamenei doing everything he could to humiliate them, I think we were sickened and we were horrified. If one image sums up the weakness of the Obama-Clinton foreign policy, it is that image. And not only did the president not mention it in the State of the Union, but John Kerry, the president, apologized to Khamenei after he captures our soldiers, after he tries to humiliate them. Our government apologizes to them and gives them $150 billion. It was disgusting. It was wrong. And I'll tell you that if I'm elected president, none of our fighting men and women will ever be on their knees. And if anyone, if any tyrant, if any dictator attempts to capture our soldiers or sailors or airmen and Marines, they will face the full force and fury of the United States of America. This will not happen. If we had a commander-in-chief who would stand for America instead of groveling to Islamic tyrants, this would not be happening.
Let me ask you
one more last question.
We're 17
days out of Iowa.
It's been neck and
neck with you and Trump heading into this Iowa caucus. You're clearly now the number 2 candidate in this race.
How do you assess
where it's
going
from
from here? We have
here?
about
less a minute.
I think the voters are making a judgment. Who can they trust? Who has been a consistent conservative? In a Republican primary, everyone talks a good game. Everyone says they're pro-life. Everyone says they're pro-Second Amendment. Everyone says they're opposed to amnesty and opposed to Obamacare. I think what the voters are saying is, okay, who's walked the walk? Before they were a presidential candidate, who was standing and fighting for the right to life? Who was standing and fighting to defend the Second Amendment? Who was standing and fighting against Obamacare? And who led the fight against the Rubio-Schumer Gang of Eight amnesty bill? And the answer on each of those is I've been proud to stand with the American people in those fights. And Donald Trump is a good man, but he was nowhere to be found on any of those issues. Well, I think that's the reason conservatives keep uniting behind our campaign.
All right, I know you
No,
have
you
to
have
run.
to run.
We do appreciate your time, Senator Ted Cruz. Congratulations. I thought last night was your best debate. It was informative,
enlightening, entertaining as well.
Thank you, Senator,
Thank you,
for your
Senator,
time.
for your time.
Thank you, Sean. God bless. We had a lot of fun. We'll do it again very soon.
Oh, yeah.